Afternoon YouTube, it's Martin here from Mother Do Pipes. It's Wednesday afternoon, the 17th of August. I've just come out to my workshop in order to make a quick video just to show you my workspace and some of the tools and equipment that I use for pipe making. So this is my workshop in its entirety. As you can see, it's a fairly small space. On the bench I have my wood turning lathe, which is just a small inexpensive model. It's fitted with a 4-jaw self-centering chuck, and as you can see I've removed 2 of those jaws in order to allow me to clamp the rectangular blocks of briar for turning. In addition to drilling and turning the briar blocks, the lathe is also useful as different attachments can be attached here, such as sanding discs or polishing wheels. Makes it a very versatile machine for most aspects of pipe making. In addition to that, I have a small bench grinder, which is mainly used for sharpening wood turning chisels. It can also be fitted with a little polishing buff, and as you can see it has a flexible shaft with a handpiece, which is quite useful for using small burrs and sanding wheels, which is good for intricate work, particularly on stems. On the back wall, as you can see, I have a set of wood turning chisels. Also use a smaller precision size set for a lot of the pipe making. Also have some magnetic tool holders here. The bottom one, as you can see, has measuring and sharpening equipment. Middle one, most of the drill bits which I use regularly, and the top one just some parts for the lathe. Underneath the bench, I have a set of drawers which contain most of the other tools and all important dust extraction machinery. I'll also talk briefly about some of the materials that you use for pipe making. As you can see, this is a block of briar. This is how it comes from the supplier. It's one of the last of a batch that I ordered, so unfortunately it isn't the prettiest block, but I think I might be able to make something useful out of it. I've also brought some of the stem materials. This first piece is polyester. Polyester's getting increasingly used for pipe stems, as a lot of people feel it has the advantage of being somewhat softer on the teeth. From the manufacturing point of view, it comes in a round bar, which makes turning it on the lathe slightly easier than things like acrylic. It also bends fairly easily at low temperature, and so you can put a bend in a stem just by immersing it in boiling water for a minute or two. It does have the disadvantage that it's a little prone to shattering if returning tools are not very sharp. Secondly, I have some acrylics. Acrylics are usually supplied in a square bar, which makes initial turning a little bit more tricky. They're somewhat harder than polyester and do tend to blunt turning tools fairly quickly. However, they're available in a broader range of colours and polished to a very nice shine. And thirdly, I have more traditional Cumberland, which is available in a small range of colours. This is hard vulcanized rubber, more traditional stem material. A lot of people feel this has the advantage of being softer on the teeth. It's also very nice to work with. It doesn't shatter, it turns and machines very nicely, but it does unfortunately produce a rather unpleasant sulphurous smell whilst it's being machined. Lastly, I have a piece of Delrin. Delrin or acetal is a polymer type plastic, which I tend to use for most of my stem tenons, as well as having the advantage of being easier to produce a good mortise and tenon joint without expensive engineering lathes. Delrin is quite dimensionally stable, so tenons don't tend to work loose over time, and it has self-lubricating properties, which is obviously a benefit for stem tenons. So that was just a quick overview of my tools and some of the materials I use. In my next video I'm going to show you how I go about drilling this block of briar in order to start making a pipe. So until the next time, have a good evening and see you soon.